This is RadioOnFire.com. Yours truly, Dominic K. in here. Thank you for joining me. Broadcasting from the Radio on Fire studios here in Baltimore, Maryland. A lot of things I want to talk about, a lot of things I want to get into. 2017 Baltimore Music Awards nominations now underway for this red carpet event. Visit BaltimoreMusicAwards.com and cast your nominations before October. It's coming up. October is definitely coming up, so definitely let your voice be heard. We've had more people vote on the Baltimore Music Awards this year than ever before. So this is going to be our biggest event yet. As I said, visit BaltimoreMusicAwards.com for all that info. So here in Baltimore, anybody that lives in Baltimore City and has lived in Baltimore City is familiar with Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake Family Fun Center, skating ring. It has been announced that they are closing Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake is located on Pennsylvania Avenue. As I said, anybody that grew up in Baltimore in the last 30 years, I would say 30 years, is aware of Shake and Bake. And I would venture to say that most kids have gone to Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake boasting having over 1.6 million, served over 1.6 million people. Shake and Bake, as I said, for people outside of Baltimore, this is a skating ring. Skating ring, bowling alley, all different types of events have taken place there. And this landmark, I'm going to call it a landmark of the city. This landmark is set to close. Now, what is disturbing to me about this is that it is set to close and there is no timetable for reopening it. And from everything that I've seen and heard about it, and when I look at the quotes from the city officials, there's no intention to reopen Shake and Bake. They don't, the verbiage that they're saying, they don't talk like people that want to reopen Shake and Bake. I think that they are, just providing lip service because they know that people will be upset to hear that you're closing Shake and Bake with no timetable for reopening it. The timetable to trying to get something out of the mayor about when you're going to reopen Shake and Bake is like trying to get something for her plan to fight crime. It just ain't going to happen. We ain't going to get it. She's not going to say it. And I'm definitely not equating Shake and Bake with the murders in the city and crime. I'm just trying to say that we can't get a straight answer out of our city officials about this landmark that is going to be closing. So they're closing it indefinitely. September the 1st. That's it. Done. It's a wrap. Finito. And so the website is gone dark, as they say. They've given up the website. So if you wanted to visit Shake and Bake's website, it's up for sale. They haven't renewed the website. Does that seem like a business that's getting ready to reopen sometime soon? No, that's not what you do. You don't give up your website. Of course, they can get another website, but the thing is that you would keep the website up, and we're doing these fabulous repairs that they claim that they're going to do. Of course, Shake and Bake needs repairs done. We definitely know that. We definitely know that Shake and Bake needs repairs done. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Shake and Bake. I've been to Shake and Bake many times. As a kid, I remember going to Shake and Bake. It was a big deal for me going to Shake and Bake as a kid. And I'm sure that it was like that for many kids around the city. So, some people may say I'm holding on to the past. Shake and Bake's old and run down. It's time to let it go. You know, you got hot skates. You got other places where kids can go, and I get it. And some people will say the neighborhood's not the best. You know, we don't want to go. I get it. I hear you. But let me have my moment, okay? So it has been reported that the city's director of minority and women-owned business development said that there was a meeting where the mayor and some other folks walked around Pennsylvania Avenue, and they stopped at Shake and Bake. That's what they said. And they were talking about, wow, I think we need to do some fixing up here. That's what they said, right? Like this was a surprise, okay? There's a lot of work that needs to be done to the entire neighborhood. But they try to act like they had this big romantic moment, and like it hit them, right? So they're saying that they want to remodel Shake and Bake. They're saying that, of course, there needs to be upgrades to the heating and the air conditioning system, the kitchen area, the railings, whole bunch of stuff, right? I get it, and this is true. So they're saying that the cost of the repairs and the length of time the facility would be closed would be unknown. They're saying that they need to get these things done, but the building is owned by the city. They can do whatever they want. They can fix it up. You were able to find money overnight to, get the Confederate statues out of here, right? And I talked about this. This Confederate statue thing is going to come back to bite the city in the ass, because every time we want something done, we're going to go back and say, you were able to get the Confederate statues down. You were able to find money to get private contractors to remove the Confederate statues. So why you can't fix up Shake and Bake? Why can't you put in some type of heating system in Shake and Bake? Where's all the money going that you've been using for Shake and Bake, right? What do they spend money on? The city owns it. So you mean the city can't get decent prices on something? No, because they want to present contracts to their friends who overcharge them for things and line their pockets, allegedly. That's what happens. But they claim that they need to get these things done as soon as possible. Okay. That's what they're saying. Yet and still, people that live in that community are used to going to Shake and Bake and having Shake and Bake there. Maybe they don't have a way to get to Woodlawn, to Hot Skates, or whatever other facility is popping. They need something in their community. But this is what frequently happens, not only in Baltimore, but in major cities around this country. Now, the final event before the closure of Shake and Bake, the indefinite closure of Shake and Bake, is going to take place this Friday, 5 to 9 p.m. Children will get free school supplies, haircuts, manicures, and the such. And that's going to be it. I'm predicting that Shake and Bake is not going to reopen, not anytime soon. A lot of people dropped the ball with Shake and Bake, and they all are elected officials in Baltimore City. So there are more children in the area, in the Upton area where Shake and Bake is located, than most neighborhoods in Baltimore. And I'm glad that they're talking about doing upgrades. I just wish that it was really going to happen. And in order for you to seem serious about something happening, there has to be a plan, a timetable in order. We can't combat crime because there is no plan. There is no strategy. Of course, we can say, yeah, we need to combat crime in Baltimore. Duh, but there is no strategy for it. And we just say that it needs to be done. We see the repairs need to happen in Shake and Bake and many other buildings around the city, but there's no plan to get it done. They just talk about the fact that it needs to be done. Now, Shake and Bake was formed by former Baltimore Colt Glenn Shake and Bake, that's his nickname, Dowdy, back in 1983. It features 40 bowling lanes and also a disco roller skating ring. And so they had some financial troubles over the years, but they always seemed to bounce back. They always bounced back. I don't know what's going to happen with that because, like many other things that have gone to hell, like the school system, Shake and Bake is owned by the city and operated by a private vendor, Anthony Williams Sr. and his Kingdom Management, Inc. Now, let me say this first about Mr. Anthony Williams Sr. He has done great work in the city. I want to salute this man. He worked his way up from a ticket taker at Shake and Bake. He's worked at Shake and Bake or for Shake and Bake most of his life. He started as a ticket taker and worked his way up to becoming the management in Shake and Bake. So he has done decades of service for the community. He's going to be at this event, this last event that's going to take place this Friday. And hopefully I will be able to meet him. So I definitely want to salute this man. So the event that's going to take place, like I said, the last event before the closing. So Mr. Williams, his company runs Shake and Bake, which is owned by the city. And his contract was up last year to run it, stayed on this extra year. I think that this was known that they were going to do this sometime soon. He had a 5-year contract, but they let him stay on. Now the thing is over. Of course, they rent to private parties and all that kind of stuff. But the center has hosted events, boxing matches. Gucci Mane was at Shake and Bake a couple years ago. There have been numbers of parties over the years. I've DJ parties there. I've done parties with Kenny B and Mike Crosby and just a lot of people over the years. Big Tony used to go there and did all types of events there. Reggie Reg. Tony, Miss Tony, Big Tony, grew up not far from Shake and Bake. So Shake and Bake deeply rooted in the community. So going back the history of Shake and Bake, when it initially opened up, it opened as a private business. The football player who opened Shake and Bake, who Shake and Bake is named after, sold it to the city in 1985 after he fell behind some payments on a loan from city officials. So city has always had a hand in it. The city owned the building, and city's been pulling strings. So it seemed like the city wanted the building. The city got the building. The city removed Shake and Bake's name. The football player, Shake and Bake is his nickname. They removed that from the name of the building at one point in time. It just was called the Baltimore Neighborhood Recreation Facility. You remember that? I remember that. However, people still called it Shake and Bake, and they eventually had to change the name back because it's like nobody's calling it Baltimore Neighborhood. Fuck out of here, right? They're calling it Shake and Bake because that's what the city knew it as. But it still had problems, still ran into issues with the upkeep of Shake and Bake. It's reported that in the 90s, Shake and Bake lost over $1 million. Over $1 million. How do you quantify this $1 million loss? I don't know, but they're saying that. For some reason, these troubles forced the city to privatize the center back in 99, but still keep ownership of it. It's very strange how they do this. If a private owner was running Shake and Bake, I'm sure that it would be in much better shape. All the red tape and all the bureaucracy that's involved in the city owning something, the city messes up everything it touches. because the city doesn't know how to do business, because the city wants to line their pockets and their pockets of, their friends. And that's how things get messed up. Budgets get inflated and nothing gets done. That's what happens when the city owns something. I got to point back to the schools and how the schools are run and any other business. Do we need to talk about the AFRAM? Do we need to talk about the Stone Soul Picnic? Anything that the city touches, the city screws up. And this is what is happening. Did we just realize today or in the last week or the last year that Shake and Bake is hot? Shake and Bake has been hot since the 80s and the 90s. We all knew it was a sweat box. We knew that. Over the years, these things could have been done, but no. Of course, we're talking about Baltimore City. And, Stephanie Rollins Blake, former mayor, the transition team recommended back in 2010 to try to get some work done to it. And didn't quite happen. That's when Mr. Williams got the contract. And, so Shake and Bake is still, it is what it is. It's going to happen. Good memories for Shake and Bake. It could be fixed up. I wish it was fixed up. I wish the city would relinquish ownership of it, give it to somebody who really cares about it and really wants to do something about it. So let your thoughts be known in the comment section, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. I am a little amped up at how the city has dropped the ball on Shake and Bake. Everything that the city needs, the residents of the Upton area need, grocery stores, just things just slipping by the wayside, Let me know your thoughts. Comment section, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Diamond K Show, at Radio on Fire. The Diamond K Morning Show, daily, new episodes dropping 9 a.m. I haven't made an official announcement about it, but I might as well do it right now. Radio on Fire will be expanding to Atlanta. We are not leaving Baltimore. We're still going to have our Baltimore studios, but we will be opening a studio facility in Atlanta as well as here in Baltimore. So we're going to have and welcome a lot of new shows that are going to be based in Atlanta to the Radio on Fire family. And Jay Jackson Live in Atlanta show, of course, a longtime affiliate of Radio on Fire. Jay Jackson will be running the ATL location. The Diamond K Morning Show will be simulcast in Atlanta and here in Baltimore, so we're excited about that. The Jay Jackson Live in Atlanta show will also be simulcast from Atlanta here in Baltimore, but we're also going to be welcoming a lot of new shows based in Atlanta. So if you want more information on that, email HR Records 410@gmail.com or visit radioonfire.com. Click the contact button, however you want to do it, do that. So we're very excited to announce that Radio on Fire is expanding and moving to Atlanta, but we will be still in Baltimore. So we're going to be Baltimore studio, Atlanta studio, Radio on Fire, celebrating our biggest year to date. So I'm very excited about that. As I said, if you want to get on board with things that we have going on, HR Records 410@gmail.com. I will see you guys tomorrow.